Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. My name's Jared. Today we're going to do some work on the Civic. Wasn't some work that I'd planned to do, but gonna do an upgrade in the meantime anyway. But what happened yesterday was I was at Macca's in the car park, went to slam her in reverse, and the gear shift knob broke off. As you can see here, gear shift knob with the extension, and inside there you can see the broken end of the shift knob, and that's the end of the shifter. So it's not enough there that I can, because it's tapered, there's not enough there that I can kind of, you know, cut it down and re-tap it. But it just looks like the steel that it's made of is quite shit. This is already a short shifter. It came in the car when I bought it, so I think it's a Chinese one. I don't think it's a real one. I'm just going to be swapping this broken one out for a new one. So I managed, because I'm a bit of a Facebook marketplace demon, I managed to find this brand new one on marketplace, $50 cheaper than it was in Elusive Racing and JDM Yard, and also they were both out of stock. Pretty solid piece of steel compared to what's in there. And this one is the double bend. So it's got two bends, which you can either position it in the car to be closer to you or further away, but it can only go in two directions because of that bearing in the bottom there. Comes with a sticker, an owner's book with a, you know, a card. I'm gonna try to show you some stuff, and these bolts with spacers that go in the end of the shifter where it bolts onto the car. To me, there's kind of two main options when you're buying these shifters, and first one is Skunk, which is cheaper, and then the second one, which is almost double the price, you're looking at hybrid racing, and they've got different designs. Hybrid racing one kind of eliminates a stock ball joint and has its own one that bolts on, and this one keeps the factory cup with the rubber boot. So it's not a super long install, but we do have to jack the car up because we're going to get to some bolts underneath, and we might have to remove the exhaust in the tunnel, and we're also going to need to remove that center console to push the new one through from the bottom. Going to start in the interior. Mine's obviously possibly going to be different to yours because I've got an EG with an EK center console. So mine's, I've mounted it myself, so yours is going to be different in how it goes in. But essentially there's probably going to be a bolt either side here and some in the front or on the side there just to get this off and to the side. You don't have to remove it completely, but just enough to, you know, get this out and move it to one side. So just something like this is fine. Just move it to the side and then you've got access to this. And we're going to pull the boot off that goes around the bottom. And then this boot is going to go through the bottom when we undo the bolts that are inside. You can see the top of a bolt there without the bolt part just impregnated into that. So next we're going to go underneath the car and take the nut off that one and the nut off that one. So now we're looking up there, you can see on the left and the right there up the top there's actually two, looks like M10 or M12 nuts, and then on top of that down the bottom horizontally you can see that there's another bolt going through the bottom of the linkage. But at the same time right here we have the exhaust pipe, so you may need to drop down the exhaust pipe to be able to get to those bolts and nuts. Now would be also a good time to change that red bush that I've got at the back there, because you've almost taken out most of the linkage here anyway. Up the top here, because I'm not removing the whole assembly, I had the little stud at the top turning, which I'll show you. That little stud there, that was rotating, as you can see here. It's not like tacked in place how I would have thought it would be. So yeah, I just use the vice grips on there to hold that in place. And then I just got to repeat the process for the one on the other side. As you can see, that is the old one out. So you have that bottom M12 that you need to remove, and then you've got the two M10 nuts that sit under there. So then this cup and bowl need to come off. Like such. And now would be a really good time to replace this with a new one, but I haven't thought well enough ahead to order one. As you can see, the part of the boot has remained from the old one. So comparing the old one to the new one, this one, I can already tell straight away, is made from aluminium. It is properly light, and this one is steel. This one got to be probably double the weight of the old one that's come out. This one also, if you look, in terms of design, you can see the old one had the single bend, which is an option you can buy the Skunk in, or the new one I've got has a double bend. But if I line up like the pivot and I just compare this section here, they look almost identical. They both have the same bearing design in the bottom. Yeah, it just looks like one's got a bend, one's aluminium, which probably explains why that's snapped, and one's steel. So I'm pretty confident this one's not going to break now. But yeah, we're just going to transfer this over to the new one, but not before we put some grease in it. So I've got the two bolts for the bottom on these either side here connected, and as you can see right now we can turn this around. So you've got two options. You can have it dog-legged away from you, so it's going to be further away, or you can have it dog-legged towards you, which I think is the main advantage to this one, is it brings it over a little bit closer to you. And I think for me, that's already in a pretty good position. I found these little vice grips to be the best for holding on to those tops there. If you had this out, what I'd suggest is maybe even putting a tack weld on that so you don't need to hold it like this. The last kind of tricky part of this install is installing this bolt with the spacers and the nut. I'll just demonstrate on the old one outside of the car on how it should go. So you're going to have your bolt with the washer. You're going to have your first collar, which goes, it will fit inside of that. And then you'll have your second collar, which goes the other side, a spacer, and a washer, and a nut. So it'll look something like that, but this one is not long enough because the collar is not fitting inside the bearing on this aftermarket one. The spacer that goes next to the nut didn't allow the nylock part of the nut to actually engage. It did tighten up, but I'm just concerned if the nylock part doesn't go in and the bolt falls out, that'll be a bad day. So I'm actually just going to grind down this spacer a little bit, take a couple mil off just to allow that to engage properly. Alright, so that's the shift knob installed. I didn't put my dog leg shifter on just because the threaded insert was damaged and I didn't have a spare one, and I just want to go back to kind of the original height for a bit. But as you can see, it looks very similar to what there was before. And I guess the question what everyone is asking is the Skunk shifter any better than a $30 eBay one, which was in here before? So I do have detent springs, so it's a little notchier. But in terms of the throw, maybe better from the side profile. Fifth, reverse, reverse, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. As you can see here, I'd found a shift extension. It's probably only 2 to 3 inches long, but just brought the shift knob up just a little bit more to bring it more in proximity with the steering wheel now. And the extra leverage does make it a bit easier to change gears as well. The installation process probably only took about an hour, including jacking the car up and getting those things undone. If you do have a friend that can help you from the top to hold those bolts, that will save you probably 10-15 minutes, because I had to get in and out a few times to put the vice grip on and change it to the other side. So I guess to conclude this video, is the Skunk shifter any better than the eBay shifter? Well, in terms of quality and packaging and material design, it is better. If you're after lightweight, then perhaps the aluminium eBay one is better. In overall feel, they're identical. I think the eBay one is just a straight copy of the Skunk, just made out of aluminium rather than steel. And as you can see, aluminium is a bit more brittle than steel. If I was gonna buy another shifter again, what would I buy? Well, honestly, I mean, Skunk for the brand and the quality there, if you're after quality and reliability. If you're on a budget and you don't really drive your car that much and you're not gonna use a shifter extension like I did, I'd just buy the eBay one, to be honest. It's pretty much the same thing. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below, and subscribe if you can. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.